Welcome back, everyone. And welcome back, Ryan. We have both been on the move, out and about, doing things since our last recording. I think this is going to be another adventures episode, but with a lot less of me and you adventures, but us doing adventures.
I agree. We are off for dungeon crawling. We're not Carl, but we're Ryan and Rich is doing dungeon crawling.
I see what you did there. Have you, okay, you didn't start Dungeon Crawler, Carl, did you?
No,
Okay.
I didn't. Amy, I think, did the first book, but she's not an RPGer, so she didn't really know what's happening. So it wasn't really her thing. I did see that they're doing all kinds of spin-off now. It's been around, I guess, for several years, but it's actually gotten attention. I saw they're going to do like a graphic novel for the first book.
Oh.
So that would be interesting. I think she'd be more into that, actually seeing the cartoony aspect of it.
It will translate well into a graphic novel.
Definitely. And it's funny, they're doing an RPG as well. I think that still might be on Kickstarter or just finished. I think it just finished. And somewhere I heard that they did part of that Kickstarter, there was a card game that went with it as well. So
I just finished the book where the card game is part of the book. Kind of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's kind of like they wanted to get that flavor in the book. And so the card game is part of battling. And I did not realize that was part of the Kickstarter goals. That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard that on a different podcast that that part of that RPG had the card game in it, and I'm like, oh, they had a card game. Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was part of the book, so that tracks and makes way more sense.
I am currently on book 7, and book 8 just dropped, so I'm in book 7, book 8. You know what? I need to buy book 1 for Larry. I need to see if he'll like that. I think I'm going to do that after the podcast. I'll send that to him. But okay, neither here nor there. All of a sudden, dear listener, we just slipped into Rich and Ryan chit chat time, just talking about life. So you got to see kind of like what life is like, which is kind of like our podcast. We just sit here and talk back and forth. But we do have to get to what the adventures are. And Larry does take part in this first adventure that Ryan went on. Ryan, tell us about this World Cup type event you went to.
Nice. So it was time for True Dungeon's mini adventure. It's their con. They do it about every 5 years, from what I understand. And that means that I did it a decade ago, and they have different themes for each one. Huh. So True Realm was like a decade ago. I have a t-shirt. This past weekend was RingCon. So the theming of it was rings. We were collecting rings and doing all kinds of fun stuff. Which I'll get to momentarily. But so they do a theme. 5 years ago, I guess, was SkullCon. So I didn't go to that one, so I'm not exactly sure all the themes in particular. But it was good. They said there's about 500 people there.
Oh, nice. Small, intimate, kind of Amy West event. If you think about that, that's a really, so obviously it's going to be a ton of the top people that come on the leaderboard, right? They're really in the True Dungeon. This is their thing, right?
Yes.
So when you, where are they having this at? Is this, where's this location?
It was in Marion, Illinois, which is gotten bigger from what I remember it a decade ago. But it's still a pain to fly into, I'll tell you that.
So no one lives in Marion except for maybe the people that run True Dungeon. Is that why? I mean, this is a remote location.
It was. It's gotten a lot bigger. Close to where the venue was, it was something called the Pavilion. It looked like a big hangar that they turned into meeting space. Is kind of what it looked like, but it's not that far from the airport. But they're building a Top Golf just down from it. So anything that's big enough to support a Top Golf has grown. And there's all
Wow.
kinds of restaurants right around there. So it's gotten a lot bigger than what I remember it from before.
When I heard how you had to get there, I just was picturing the smallest little town, like where CostCon was held. You know what I mean? I was
Yes.
expecting a small town like that.
That's what I remember. And the airline this time, it was interesting. So I live in DC. I had to fly to Chicago. So I did a mainline United because that's what I fly. And in Chicago, you switch to another airline. I think it was Compass. Was it Compass? It was a little. I think they're a little Essential Air airline, and they have this plane just flies from Chicago to Marion back and forth. But it was a jet, so I was kind of happy with that. And there was like 20, 30 people on it on each flight, and it looked like a good half of them were for True Dungeon.
Oh wow, yeah.
Easy.
Oh wow.
So easy because there was a way I was in on the way there. It was a 1x3, so I was in the window and the aisle seat on the one side.
Nice.
I love those. And the lady beside me, she was going, and we were chatting a little bit. And the funny thing is, Larry's our quartermaster, right? Love him. He just takes care of all the stuff. What is our one job we have to do?
Oh well. I'm going to say we have a couple jobs: show up and play.
That's
and
the most
carry
important.
tokens. Those are like our two jobs.
Correct. And the carry tokens has really decreased since he's gotten his little travel thing that weighs about 100 pounds. But it's like this metal frame thing that holds as many tokens as he can stuff into it. It's great. So we really just have to show up. That's our thing, right? So she's asking me all kinds of questions like, oh, what runs are you doing? You know, which ones, what times? And I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I know I'm doing one of each. I don't. And then I actually did two of the one. But I have no clue. And she's talking about, oh, you know, there's going to be different rings there. So in part of your swag bag when you showed up, you got 4 tokens. One's a generic. Thank you for coming to RingCon. It doesn't really have a in-game effect. One of them is an old wooden token that's a wooden stake. And if you throw it in your puck and hit a 20 against a vampire, you kill it in one hit.
Oh wow!
And it snaps the token.
And if you miss, it doesn't snap it.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay, good. Because I want to be I want us all to have stakes. Wouldn't that be funny if we went into a run and every one of us had a stake, and all we were doing was trying to hit that 20, man? We're just ignoring everything else. We're just going for the 20.
We think that Lord Craven's a vampire in the theming of what's happening in the True Dungeon world right now. Or that's what we believe, and this all tracks into that. So that was kind of cool. And there's the more important token is you got a ring, and it's part 1, a number of 10. So there's a mini game for, RingCon here, that if you got 10 humans with 10 different rings and go see Grunnell, you go on a mini quest. So just think of how this went. There's people going, I have 7, need 4. So there's some duplicates. Of course, Larry, we got duplicates, so we had to trade some away. And then, there was only 3 of us in our group. We got Tom. He was part of us, so that was 4.
Oh, yay.
So we needed 6 more people. So with that, we had to go find 6 more people that had different things than what we had. And we wanted to make sure we didn't have duplicates. So we had to trade 2 of ours away because Tom had a duplicate of one of ours too, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's 4 of us, and we get 2 duplicates out of 4 pulls. So that was interesting. But then people just going, all right, I need people that have blah, blah, blah. And people are holding signs and making announcements. And it just went like you expected. 3 hours later, we got our group together, and literally, that's not the YouTube video where it says 2 hours later. It took us 3 hours to get everybody together and Grunnell to be free to actually go do our mini quest.
And you're talking about truly putting 3 hours into this, not hey, what are you doing? You actively were talking to people for 3 hours.
We probably were actively talking for people for an hour and a half, and then said meet back here at this
Okay.
time. But even in that time, then Grunnell was busy. Did you do the Christmas one this past year?
I don't think I did this past year's. I think Rob did it in
Yes, I think were you guys in Germany?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yep. We were in Germany. Yep.
So, the little girls that are doing different things. I think they were gingerbread kids or something in this past one, but you see them in different things in the Grunnell one. Grunnell was giving them a tour and taking them around and buying soda for them and snack. So that was like a half an hour. So like we were just getting our party together, and then he's like, this will take like 20 minutes, and like half hour later, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It is what it is, right? And it was pretty cool. They had a good time, and everybody had a good time. We're just like, and break for 30 minutes. We'll meet you all back here. But it was really cool. The mini quest was good. If you got it right, there was a chance of getting a special ring. So the partial rings you turned in, and then you got a special ring. If you screw it up, you get a cursed ring instead of the good ring. Go figure. We got the good ring, so we were very happy with that. And then there were little mini games. So Larry was collecting all these little tokens to go play mini games. And there were 4 of them. So I'm going to finish with the one I enjoyed the most, which I love so much. There was one where there were 6 people went in, and you each picked a monster, and they rolled D6s with colors on them, and they moved up. And if you picked the right one that went over the winner line first, you got an extra bonus. Otherwise, these tokens turned into transmute objects. Great. One I did, where I had to take this little ball and fire it, which is like a wooden catapult with rubber bands, and fire it into a cauldron.
Oh, how fun.
Like a volcano. Yep. The other one was I didn't do. Drew did it. You had to take one of the True Dungeon tokens, and they're poker chip size, and balance it on its edge while you're pushing it up or moving it up to convert that one.
There's no way in the world I could have done that.
No, Drew did it twice because he did it the first time. And if you did it once, they would let you convert all of your tokens into the thing. And then, of course, I found one after he already did it and was in line to go do the second thing that he had tokens for. I'm like, oh, yeah, I found this. Sorry. And, yeah, he was like, dude, really? But the thing that I enjoyed the most, there's this dragon crossbow, Nerf crossbow. And they had ducks on these little shells. And you're shooting Nerf crossbow darts at these ducks. And I did knock 7 of them off with 14 shots. I have ducks on my desk. I did complete it. Mm-hmm. But on shot 12, I needed 3 more ducks. It doesn't really matter how you knock them off. If you can hit them on the first time, you can come back on the ricochet. It doesn't really matter. So long as they fall off that shelf, you're fine. And there's multiple shelves of them. I don't know what I did, but I hit one of the rows, one of the shelves, and 3 ducks fell off. And he's like, oh, there's your 7. You're good. Yes.
Yay! You brought home the gold.
I've got ducks.
Oh, you got to keep them.
Oh, yeah, you got to keep them.
Dude, that's beautiful. I'm really glad you came up with a strategy. Did people start copying your hit the rail strategy?
Yeah, there was a group of people behind me going, oh, so you just got to hit the rail to knock them off.
Someone's eventually just going to throw the crossbow. They're going to be like, I just have to knock the ducks down? And they're going to toss the crossbow like with its biggest angle of facing it and try and just knock the rack over.
Oh, that was great. That was pretty good.
I am one, I know you like that because Rangers, you get to shoot things, right? So you're a ranger. That makes perfect sense you do that. B, I bet you love the Toy Story ride at Walt Disney World, didn't you?
Oh, I love the Toy Story ride at Disney World.
This sounds like one of those spots whenever, you're turning, you're shooting. And yes, same idea. I knew you probably loved that ride as soon as you said you loved that. But okay. What else, bro? What else? Sorry.
So that was fantastic. That was great. Yeah, definitely had an awesome time with that. We had two different runs. There was a mini run, which was just your stuff. That was 4 rooms, and then there was another run that's also offered at Gen Con. So I'm not spoiling that at all.
Yeah, don't.
No, no spoilers. But there was another run that was there, so we're just not doing it at Gen Con, and that was pretty cool. We did that one twice, so we had a good time. We had a really good time with that. The guys got out there a day before I did. I didn't. I got out there Friday, so I left here way too early Friday morning. Got out there, I don't know, around 1 o'clock or so Friday afternoon. I think our first run was at like 4 or 5, so it was fine. And then we did that, hung out a little bit, met up with Tom. I think we just chilled. We did a lot of chatting and some trading. Saturday was obviously getting this other mini quest done, and then doing, the other run. Larry had a special run afterwards, so he was off on his own. We started a co-op card game I took with me, and then we finished it while Larry was off doing his own, I don't know, patron run, I think, where he converted a token and it says it's made by Larry.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool. That was really neat. And we went to barbecue there. We found just like a random, it's like a little mom and pop restaurant that did pretty good barbecue ribs. I will say that.
Wow.
I know, it was random. So Larry and I got ribs. Drew got like some grilled fish, or not grilled fish, deep fried fish. Everything was good. It was great, and it was amazingly inexpensive. So that was pretty cool. They had the Critical Soda truck was there selling us set up. And there was a food truck there as well. The food truck was okay and took a while, but at least it was there. So they made an effort. So that's awesome. It was just a good adventure. It was just hard getting there and hard getting back. That was my biggest challenge, that if anything went wrong, neither airline knew about each other. It's one thing if it's like a multi-stop from one airline. They're like, yeah, we messed up. We'll fix it. But when neither of them know about each other, I was pretty nervous about that.
Well, I am glad you made it and was able to get to the event, and the event went really well. And again, sometimes just hanging out with people is the best part. The other pieces are just icing on the cake.
I agree. That I just really enjoyed it. They had some one-up arcades there. I think 5 little ones set up with like Defender and Pac-Man and stuff like that as well. And Thursday they did a pizza party, but I didn't get out till Friday, and I can't eat the pizza anyway, so that was fine. It was a nice adventure, and nice little con. They did a really good job. They were working really hard. My biggest, I had unfortunately one little complaint. There wasn't a T-shirt I could buy. I was very sad about that.
They didn't have T-shirts?
The staff got them, volunteers got them, but we couldn't buy a T-shirt.
I am very surprised, because that's always such a nice moneymaker for these events.
Yeah, it said something about St. Grunel on the back. One of the rings was St. Grunel's ring or something that you converted to make the special one. And then the ingredients you got for the mini games, you transmuted them as well. So it was really good in that aspect. I just wish they had a T-shirt.
Next time. Now,
I hope so.
I did get a T-shirt.
You did get a T-shirt because you went on a different adventure.
But I did not go alone either. Jason, fan of the podcast. Fun. Someone Jason's actually your friend of the world, you know what I mean? Who I got to meet at VCF Midwest last year. And of course, during our conversation over dinner and lunch and getting to know each other, he was coming to Southwest this year. So me and him have stayed in contact. Obviously, we have a little group chat that we all kind of BS in here and there. And so he came into town. I had to work and life, and and that's the thing that we talked about is when you go somewhere, it's kind of nice because you can kind of ignore your real life. Whereas when an event happens in your town, you still have partners and family and job that are just kind of there, in the way. So yeah, Jason got in. I ended up meeting up with him Friday in the afternoon. We did VCF South West. Let me tell you, new location over by the airport. Really, I kind of liked the location. When we went to do our adventures away from VCF Southwest, that location came into play really well. It kind of put us in a good position for getting over to Fort Worth or getting up to Frisco or getting over east and going south. It was right at the airport, which is right in between of everything. So it was a good spot. It's also unbelievably, a side note, where Who Fest used to be. So Sarah and I would both go to Who Fest, but we didn't know each other back then. We were both married back then. So she would go to Who Fest. I would go to Who Fest. We never met each other. But when we did get to know each other later in life, talking about Doctor Who, she was like, did you ever go to Who Fest? And I was like, every year. What are you talking about? She's like, oh my God, so did I. And we just never bumped into each other. Very small, little, odd little world of geeks.
All right.
So same place. So I knew the place. Parking was a disaster, I guess.
Okay.
The best way to put it. They had more people showing up than they had parking spots for. And the parking spots, I guess, used camera trackers, license plates to bill you for parking there. And so you had to go in and use the app and put in the scan code to get free parking. And I always got a parking spot. I never had a problem getting a parking spot. We went back and forth 5-6 times. Never had a problem getting a parking spot. But other people were complaining about it verbally, loudly, online, blah, blah, blah. You can't make everyone happy. But I think that was the only issue, was parking. The layout was really nice. The rooms were really nice. One room was a little tight, one butt unit. So you kind of had to shimmy around people. But dude, that's every convention. Sometimes there's a room that's a little tight. So
yeah,
I'm not going to write it up as a too bad a thing. We had a really fun time at the show. Lots of cool things we saw. Commodore stuff was incredibly overpriced. Don't know why. Maybe next year I need to bring my extras and sell them. If I don't think anybody sold them. That's why I asked Josh on the last day. I was like, hey, go back and tell me if these things sold. Because if they did, next year I'm selling my extras, because they were selling for way too much money. But I think everything there was a little bit more expensive than East and Midwest. So as far as I can tell people that are really seriously going, maybe I should go to Southwest. Go for it. Have a great time. There may be some oddities you can pick up, but expect to pay a little bit more than some of the other shows is all I can say. Don't know why. That just seemed to be what we saw. I don't know. Don't get it. But anyways, the last thing I'll end with was the game show was great this year.
Okay.
They put their stuff online, obviously, after the events, just like everyone else. Go watch the game show. It's not up. I did check to see if we could put it in the notes. They were so funny. They did the $20,000 pyramid with the YouTube personalities were the celebrity guests, and they took people out of the audience. So it was people out of the audience and YouTubers, and they had great gifts at the end for the winners. So it was a really well done. The guy who did the speech last year on the first 10 years of BASIC, which if you have not seen, everyone, go to VCF Southwest YouTube channel and look up the first 10 years of BASIC. It is a great story of BASIC. And then this year he did the next 10 years. And so we all talked at the beginning of the talk, whether or not he has 2 more times to finish up or 1 more time to finish up. But next year he'll do the next 10 years of BASIC and go over the advancement and all the little stories and little tidbits he's researched and found out. Really great talk. All in all, VCF Southwest is smaller than East, smaller than Midwest, bigger than AMI West. I think, did I send a thing that it was 2,500 people, Ryan? I sent a thing to our group. I think I did.
I think you did, actually, yeah. AMI West is sub 200, I think.
Yeah, it's great. Nice and small. And East is a really good size too. Adventures that Jason and I have gotten into, We went to the National Video Game Museum. We've talked about that plenty of times here. We had a great time. We went and had barbecue at all the places that I like to take you, Ryan. So he got to go to Heart Aid. He got to go to Red Barn. And we went to the Red Barn because the Saturday night party was at the 8-Bit Guys arcade. I can never remember the name. Do you remember the name?
Time Rift.
Time Rift. Thank you. Okay. I think everyone calls it the 8-Bit Guy arcade. But we went to Time Rift. He was there. We sat and talked with Adrian Black for a while. Talked with AJ from Forgotten Machines, Forbidden Machines, his YouTube channel. So there were quite a few people from the event there. There were quite a few personalities. Internet personality, internet celebrities? Would you call them celebrities? I would. Yeah.
I mean, at least in this field, sure.
Celebrities, great guys. Very approachable and had some good conversations all around. So I would say if we asked Jason, he would give this a 8 out of 10. I think I'd give it 8 out of 10. Maybe Jason, comment below, tip top tickety talk, send us an email. How would you rate it? I rated it an 8 out of 10. So I think it was a really good show. Can't wait for next year. And I think I've decided if no one's coming to town, I might volunteer for the show.
Okay.
And actually get to help out. Do something really trivial that doesn't require a lot of intelligence. They always need people just to move shit. Maybe I'll just move shit.
Careful, don't mess up your back.
Yeah, no moving heavy things. Maybe moving things from A to B. I don't know. I'll figure out something silly to do. Maybe check in people. I'll work the check-in desk.
There you go.
That way I can go, still do the event. Because trust me, you could show up Saturday, and I think really, if you didn't do any of the speeches and just walk the floor, you could be done by lunch. You could show up in the morning, be done after lunch. And, when it was at UTD, it was much more spread out, but maybe the same size. And it was just so far spread out, you did a lot more walking. Whereas this time, everything's really condensed, so you're all in the right spot. But that is what we got into. I walked away with one purchase, which was 16 VHS cartridges from the 80s action movies for $20.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I got. I like my VHS. It does come in handy when I lose internet. And I wanted First Blood, and I was looking at the other Rambos in VHS, and the guy was like, just take them all. How much do you want? Or just take them all. I'll make you a deal. And I go, how much do you want? And I put $20 in my head, and he said $20. And I said, great, I'll take it. So I bought 16 VHS tapes and carried them around for the rest of the day, and they were really heavy. That's it.
That's
and
really
a t-shirt.
funny.
I bought a t-shirt. I got a t-shirt. So
I know I missed a t-shirt.
I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Dude, so I really did nothing on hardware or software since the last time we've talked. Have you been touching any of your older projects? Do we have any project updates?
I've been playing. I'm working on a 2000 that I'm still restoring. I think I've been talking about this thing forever. So I have the clock. The battery had issues. That's been cleaned up, replaced. I soldered on some ends, so that worked out pretty well. But the clock chip has issues on battery power, so which is not a lot of fun. On AC, it's fine, but the old clock chip didn't work at all on battery. I'm like, great, what's going on? I did some research, bought a newer clock chip. I thought the oscillator was messed up, so I replaced that. Had the same effect, so the old oscillator was fine. I even replaced it, whatever. The new chip I bought, from what I saw, was supposed to be a plug-in replacement, and it kinda is. AC works great. On battery, like when the computer's off, every minute that goes by, the clock goes up around 2 minutes. I'm like,
you have a time-traveling PC, Ryan.
I'm
Amiga,
getting ready to
Amiga,
put it,
not PC. You have a time-traveling Amiga.
yeah. It's just like, what? So I'm doing something wrong, and the whole, clock circuit, I don't need anymore because that used to feed into the old chip. And looking in the specs of this one, they're like, yeah, don't do anything that's not a thing for this chip. It's all internal. We'll deal with it. So I'm betting I bought the wrong chip. Of course, I bought like 20 of them because they don't make them anymore. So, and then waited. It was like 2.5 weeks to get here from China because you can't get them anywhere else.
So, dear listener, when this project was happening, Ryan and I both went on a rant about why is Radio Shack gone? Why can't we have a Radio Shack? And we went into this rant because, like it's this oscillator or chip or clock thing you need, that's something you could go to a Radio Shack and buy. Now you're going to pay $4 for one off the rack, right? And you probably paid $4 for 20 from China.
It was, I think, $30 shipped for all 20 of them.
Okay. So more than I was expecting. But the thing is, you definitely paid a premium for Radio Shack to sell you one, but they pretty much had like one of everything. And you could get that one the day you needed it, not 2 weeks later when it comes through customs.
I mean, it's fine. It's just, of course, no one makes a chip for a 40-year-old computer, an RTC chip anymore. And it's like, which one do I need? And what did I? It was just a pain. It's just a pain. And I was trying to get it to be correct because I'm thinking of selling this Amiga 2000. And I kind of want it all to work well because I have like 5 Amiga 2000s and I don't need 5. This one's got a box. It's got, the machine's all cleaned up. It works. It doesn't have an accelerator or a hard drive card in it, but I put one in it just to test it and it works fine. So it's like, okay, it works minus the clock's twice as fast. And it's like, come on. But, at some point I'm going to give up and just be done. But the faceplate was missing off of the front of it, off the front floppy drive. So I 3D printed that and that looks great. And, done a lot of things to try to get it happy again. It's been an adventure. And I think since the last time we recorded, I did do an update to email to clean up some bugs, and I added some filtering on email, some sorting. So like if you click on the name, it'll sort by name. You click on the date, it'll sort by date. You click on the subject, it'll sort by subject. But I haven't gotten back to the software in a while. I've been distracted on some work stuff, working on Kubernetes and Docker and things. So it's just like, I need to not be able to work so I can go do all my hobbies. It's kind of what needs to happen.
That's how I feel. That's I was late Friday on getting over there and hanging out with him. But we got to have jobs for now. Eventually, when we get to the end of this, we can spend a lot more time.
I know, right? So it's like that's letting me do all of this work, but I need more time to do all of this work, and work gets in the way. But it's just
darn jobs.
I know. I'm getting really close to just putting this back together and going, works fine on AC, and it's just going to double. I don't know what to tell you.
And let that become someone else's project.
Yes. Yeah,
no one wants to buy one that just works. What's the fun in that? They would listen.
Some people do.
Buy one that has a little project associated with it.
And this is fine. You don't need the clock. You really don't need the clock for anything. But I just kind of wanted it's a challenge. But I'm getting to the point where it's like I just don't even know, and I can't figure it out, or what stupid thing that I do. And I know it's going to be something really simple. I just don't know what that is. But that's really my updates on projects. This will continue for a little while. Then I'll get back to write some more software. And then I know I have a 1200 yet to clean up, another 600 that I know those are next on my list because they're going to need recaps for sure. And then previews for me, our group, we're going to Origins super shortly. So by the time this drops, we'll be back from Origins, and we'll have that to talk about. Looking forward to it. I don't know if you have anything already planned in the future.
No, but I do have one more thing to touch on.
Oh, cool. Let's do it.
I'm gonna move into AI corner again. So I'm gonna put up the trigger warning trigger warning, trigger warning. If you and by the way, it was very interesting at the game show. There were some AI comments, and a lot of boos came from the audience, like completely booing. I guess they made the web page for what they were using in AI, and they made a comment, and the whole room booed. And I was like, wow. So again, this will be the wrap up. Ryan and I have gone through our list of little things. So if you want to cut out, cut out. But let's go back to AI Corner. Remember last time, Ryan, I went over a lot of, what do you think of this? What do we call this? Because everyone everyone doesn't know. If you're new or if you haven't followed any of his projects on the Amiga in the past, Ryan is an official programmer, like makes money doing that job, and that to me is professional.
Yes.
I'm a hacker, amateur programmer, make no money, but I have fun with it. I have Claude, and we talked last time. And after I got done, I went and used Claude Code, and I had Claude through prompts only. I did do one thing. I had through prompts Claude write a tic-tac-toe program.
Cool.
And it did. And I put it up on my GitHub. I have a working tic-tac-toe program you can download in a BAS file if you want to look at what Claude did and how Claude was doing it. One of the things Claude kept wanting to do was instead of doing an input command, it was waiting for the player character. It was trying to get something from the keyboard buffer. I can't remember the command it was using, but it wasn't working operating. And I kept telling it not to do that. I would say, hey, don't do that command, do this one. And then finally, I just had to tell it, do not ever use that command again. From now on, just use input. And it was like, okay, I'll change them all. But my first two soft suggestions to Claude to do it this way, it would come back and disagree with me and say, I'm going to do it that way. So very interesting experience. It's a working tic-tac-toe program that works in emulation. I haven't tried it on real hardware, but I did put it up on my GitHub as a Claude created program, just as we talked about in our last corner. I think it's great that people can use these tools to do things, but I think they should be honest. I should not put that on GitHub and say, look what I programmed, because I didn't. It should be, look what I vibe coded with Claude. And that could show a certain level of sophistication that I know how to vibe code it, right? I know the prompts to use. I don't know if that gives you any credit. I don't know, people. Everybody bleep, bleep below. You probably hate me for all these comments. But it's there. It's a tool. I use it as a mentor when I'm doing my programming and how to understand. I'll feed it code and say what's happening. But yes, I did do something, Ryan, while we were gone, which was nice. I vibe coded a program in Commodore 64, and I put it on my GitHub. So I need to go put that link in the show notes so everybody can go downvote it or whatever they do in the world when they hate AI. I don't know.
Did you figure out the RAG stuff yet? Because you said you were going to do that.
Only on Claude. I haven't figured it out with my LLM yet. So
that
was in another side conversation, dear listener, that on Claude, I have now figured out how to give it a folder, and I put things in that folder that it reads. So I went and got a text file of the programmer reference guide, the big thick Commodore one, and put it in there and told Claude about it. And Claude's like, oh, great, now I have a tool to use. And I have a local LLM I started after working with Ryan that I need to figure out how to do it with that. So I need to get rid of my Claude. My work stuff has gotten all worked out. We've got work done. I do not use Claude. My work stuff's completely worked out. So I need to take off my Claude program and just go to my local use my local machine. But that's another story for another day. And hopefully next time we meet, I will have that solved and shared it already with you.
What's interesting, I think I have that set up and working as of this morning.
Oh, look at you. So maybe you have to tell me.
I am happy to tell you. I did find, because I'm using LM Studio for my local.
Yep.
With a recommendation from a coworker that have looked into some of this stuff, I now have another program called Anything LLM into my chain of what's happening. And inside of it, you can actually say, oh, here are the files that I want you to go do, and it does some vectoring of this data and does math that's way beyond my knowledge level. And it handles that, and then we'll send it off to the LLM after it finds your things. So I don't really know how much it's doing or how it's actually working, but I dumped some Amiga C programming books into a workspace with the Amiga software, the SDK, Amiga OS SDK, and I'm just gonna try it. But I just got it working a couple hours ago.
Wow, look at you go.
So Visual Studio Code talks to anything LLM, which then in turn talks to LM Studio.
That is pretty cool, and that's almost like having. I'm not going to talk about this. There was something we have an AI director now at the office, so we have these meetings once a week and we talk about this stuff. And sure. I'm not using the right name of what I learned this past week, so I'm going to shut up and not go over it. I'll save it for another AI corner.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, hopefully, using for me, I find AI is another interesting tool, and using it as such, like you, I use it to what is this doing, and then it'll explain it to me, and then go learn from it, and I can go incorporate it, and then I can maintain whatever it built. But that's what I want to do.
And Ryan, if anybody has made it this far in the podcast, we need to have a secret word that they type that we give them a prize. I just looked at the time. We have been chatting for 40 minutes. Man, thanks everyone for hanging out. This has been a really good talk, Ryan, and I'm glad to share with back and forth. It's funny when we go do our own little things, they sure get a lot longer. But yeah, till next time, everyone.
Take care and keep on playing.
Bye.